Good afternoon, Professor. Today we are going to talk about the systems of education in the UK and Peru. We are going to mention the similarities, differences, strengths, and weaknesses of both systems. Our outline is divided into six parts, as you can see in the PPT. The introduction, similarities, and differences of both educations, and the advantages and disadvantages of education in the UK and Peru. And finally, our conclusion. Well, to begin with, we know that all countries have an educational system that has different characteristics that differ from the others. However, today we are going to focus especially on the educational system of Peru and the UK. To start talking more specifically, Carla will mention the similarities in the educational system of both countries.
The first similarity that we found is that in both countries, the governments offer help for students who have learning difficulties. In the UK, children with special educational needs are educated in ordinary schools wherever possible. However, other children can attend day and boarding special schools. The term special educational needs is used to describe learning difficulties or disabilities that make it harder for them to learn in comparison to the ones of the same age. Children with special educational needs are likely to need extra or different help than the usual given, and this help is also known as special educational provision. All children and young people may experience learning difficulties at some point. That situation is something normal. The difficulties are temporary and are soon overcome with help and encouragement from home and school. In the case of Peru, there is the special basic education, which seeks to achieve equality education with equity for people with special abilities, thus creating an inclusive education. It is important to mention that the main objective of special basic education is to promote and ensure the inclusion, permanence, and success of students with special educational needs, so that they can successfully integrate into regular education. This group of students is made up of two types of people. The first corresponds to those who have some type of disability that hinders the regular learning, and the second to gifted children and adolescents with some specific talent. Now, the second similarity is that the organization in Peruvian schools is similar with the house system in the UK. In the UK exists the house system, which is a traditional feature of schools. The school is divided into subunits called houses, and each student is allocated to one house at the moment of enrollment. In modern times, the word house may refer only to a grouping of students, and each house will usually also be identified by its own symbol, logo, or different colors. It is similar to the four houses that we have seen in the Harry Potter movies. The reason why they have that system is because it comprises three strands of activity. The first one is house point systems, the second one is inter-house competitions, and the third one is charity fundraising. In the case of Peru, students are usually allocated by sections each time they enter to a new year of school. For example, if a student goes to the first grade of primary or secondary, he or she will be allocated in one section. It is common that these sections are called by the letters of the alphabet. Also, in some schools, they usually allocate students in sections according to their school efficiency. That if a student has good grades, they will allocate him or her in section A and so on. Although in some schools at the time of enrollment, students can choose in which section they want to be. Furthermore, in Peruvian schools, competitions are also held between those sections, and those can be a competition of dance, reading, literature, history, and more.
Now I will talk about the differences between the UK and Peruvian educational system. The first difference that we can find between the both educations is about learning foreign languages. In the case of the UK, the languages French, German, and Spanish are taught as a foreign language. Students must choose one or two of these languages to take the General Certificate of Secondary Education. On the other hand, in Peru, English is taught as a second language in schools and universities on a compulsory basis. However, in 2016, the Ministry of Education has decided to implement the bilingual international education, which is allowed to teach native languages in schools such as Quechua, Aymara, and others. The objective of this implementation was so that Peruvians who do not speak Spanish do not feel excluded, also to create more awareness among Spanish-speaking Peruvians about native languages and the people who speak it. These native languages are not yet compulsory taught in Lima schools, but it is taught in schools outside the country's capital for those who do not understand Spanish. The other difference that has been found is the duration of university careers. On the one hand, university career in the UK lasts between 3 to 4 years. Generally, most careers last for 3 years, but in some particular cases, such as in science and engineering, it can last up to 4 years. Those who graduate for university get the bachelor degree, but in addition, for those who wish to continue studying, can complete their master degree that lasts 2 years, and even for those who wish to obtain a further degree, they can obtain their doctorate between 3 to 4 years. On the other hand, a university career in Peru generally lasts 5 years, with the exceptions of careers such as law, psychology, or medicine that last longer. As in the UK, those who wish to continue their studies can obtain a master degree and the doctorate. To obtain a master degree in Peru, you must study between 1 or 2 years. And to obtain the doctorate, you need to study 3 years. However, many people prefer to study their masters and doctorates abroad for reasons of education level.
Regarding the strength of the system education in UK is that it is considered as one of the best in the world. The reason this is believed is that the UK has the best universities, which have a centuries-old history, such as Oxford and Cambridge. They also are systematically examined by the QAA to study models of teaching, learning, and research to ensure that all the benchmarks are met. According to the International School Consultancy, there are more than 4.5 million students studying at more than 8,000 English medium international schools around the world. Of those schools, more than 3,700 are British schools, as their system education has a strong reputation worldwide. Furthermore, as opposed to most universities around the world that take around 4 years or more to get a degree, a university in the UK can offer it after 3 years or less. The courses are more focused and you can gather the knowledge much faster. You will get your degree and you can start earning your own income much more quickly. However, one disadvantage that can be found is that there are not enough resources to help students and disadvantaged students to facilitate their selection when choosing a career in university. Likewise, there are no academic aptitude tests guided by teachers that can help students to know in which area they are more outstanding according to the abilities and interests of each one. In the report of the Ambition Institute, it is stated that in England today, almost half of all children will not meet expected standards at the end of primary school, and the problem increases to more than 7 in 10 by the end of secondary school. And This situation justifies the reason why not all students at the end of the school do not know what career to study, since students spend school time trying to pass their courses satisfactorily, which could lead to not learning as they should in the end.
Well, I'm going to talk about the one strength and one weakness of Peruvian education. One of the most outstanding advantages of the Peruvian educational system is the scholarship called Beca 18. This is a benefit that is given to state school students who do not who do well academically but belong to a very low income family. This scholarship, in addition to covering all the academic expenses of the student, pays the expenses of food, transportation, medical insurance, and in case of student visits in a different place from where he or she studies, his or her accommodation is also paid. In addition, in some cases, they are also paid for international studies. It can be paid partially or totally. Has been decided to offer this scholarship since there are many people who have outstanding talents but cannot continue with their studies due to the economic situation in which they live. For this reason, the Peruvian government has decided to help these students to become professionals. As for the weakness of the Peruvian system, it is the difference in the level of education between state schools and private schools. In other words, the level of education in state schools is of very low quality. The materials used in these schools are not good enough, and if we talk about schools outside of Lima, they are in worse situation. One of the reasons for this situation is due to the fact that teachers in Peru are not considered of high prestige as in other countries, and for teachers of state schools, this situation is worse. It is for this reason that children and young people who study in state schools sometimes find it difficult to adjust to the educational level of the universities, especially for those of high prestige.
To sum up with this presentation, despite the fact that both educational systems have their own characteristics, we consider that the UK educational system is more advantageous in regard to the education they provide to their students, since apart from being considered as one of the best worldwide, they have more organization in their educational institutions. In this presentation, we talk about the advantages of each one. Of the one that most caught our attention was that in Peru it has been considered to implement bilingual education. Regarding the weakness that were found in the UK, there is a little importance that they give to the guidance of their students regarding the possible careers that they could choose in university. And in the case of Peru, there is the problem of poor infrastructure that many schools have. A possible solution for the case in the UK could be that they could hire specialists to help students choose their professional careers. And in Peru, the state should be more concerned in terms of infrastructure and educational level. Thank you.
Thank you.